Today we're going to learn how to do a basic service, which is an oil and filter change on a 4-stroke motorbike. For the video I'll be using a 2013 Suzuki GN125H. It's important to remember that the tools and the oil and filter that I use for this video are specific to the GN125, so you'll have to refer to your motorcycle's service manual for the right equipment to service your own bike. First things first, we need to warm the oil up so that it drains out quickly. To do that, we'll fire her up, let her run for a few minutes, and while she's warming up we'll take a look at the tools and equipment that we need for the oil and filter change. Okay, so we've got the oil for the oil change, so I'm using 10W40 today, fully synthetic. You know, you can use any 10W40, I like to use a fully synthetic one just to be safe. Got the filter, HF131, I use the high flow filter. I've got a drain pan to catch all the old oil. I've also got some degreaser and some gloves too. And the tools that we need, we've got a funnel, some pliers or a grip of some sort, a 17mm socket and a 10mm socket. And I've also got some newspaper and an old rag as well, just to help clean things up a bit. So the engine's been running for about 5 minutes. The oil should be nice and warmed up, so we'll turn the engine off and we'll get started. First things first is we will slightly open the oil filler plug, and we won't take it right off just yet, but you'll need some pliers or a grip of some sort because they can be on quite tight. So we'll loosen that off, but we won't take it right off. It's just to help the engine breathe while we drain the oil out of the bottom. Alright, time to drain the oil. So if we have a look underneath the bike, we can see this plug here, this bolt. So this is the oil drain plug, or the drain bolt, and that's the one that we need to take off to drain the oil out. So I've got my gloves on now because this is the messy bit. I've laid some newspaper, put my catch pan underneath the bolt, and I've got my 17mm socket. There we go. So we'll let the oil drain out, and while that's going we'll go around and have a look at the other side and remove the filter. Now we can completely remove the oil filler cap, and we'll take off these 3 bolts here which hold on the oil filter cover, which Mr. Suzuki has kindly named oil filter. So we'll take the cover off, making sure that we don't lose this black O-ring or the spring in the middle. And we'll take the old oil filter out. There we go. Now you want to get a rag and give the inside of the chamber a bit of a wipe out. Get rid of all that old oil that's sitting in there. And then we want to get our new filter. And we want to pop it in, making sure it's the right way up. So you'll see one side has a hole that goes through the middle. That's the side that goes into the chamber. Like so. And it should just sit in there. Then we get the cover, make sure we've got our black O-ring in the spring, put that over top, and put the 3 bolts back on. Just a little tip, whenever you're doing up multiple bolts, you want to make sure you don't tighten one up super tight, then the other, and then the other. You want to do them sort of a little bit at a time. Now that the oil's mostly drained out, we can remove the drain pan, and we'll give the underneath a bit of a wipe with a rag. And we'll also clean the drain bolt as well. Some people change the little washer on this bolt, but if it's in good order, I just use the same one. And we will put that back in. The service manual for your bike will tell you the specs to do the bolt up, but I just do it so it's nice and tight. So now it's time to put the fresh oil in, and we can see this engine here holds 850 mils, so my bottle is 1 litre, so just under a bottle. And we can see down here we've got a sight glass that has full and low markings on it, and we're looking for in between those two, sort of like the Goldilocks zone. So after you've done that, put the filler cap back on. And now we want to start it, let the oil circulate through the engine, fill up the oil filter housing, and then we'll check the level again and see where it's at. With the engine running, it's a good idea to have a quick look underneath at the drain plug for any signs of leaking. Just make sure you've done the bolt up tight enough. After you've shut the engine down, generally what you'll find is that the oil circulated through the engine and some of it's now gone into the oil filter housing, and because of that the level might be a bit lower than when you put the oil in. That's perfectly normal. Just undo your filler plug, put some oil back in until it's within the full and low marks. About right in the middle is sort of where you want to be. Put your filler cap back on, and after that, job's done.